Activating your senses.
So, welcome to Activate Your Sense Abilities. We are going to be activating your senses so you can feel motivated and empowered. We're going to be using our superpower sense of smell for this, and it's going to be amazing. So, I am going to turn the time over now, let's see, to Tashina, and I'm sure you two ladies already know about a bit about Tashina, but Tashina, why don't you share about yourself?
Yeah, hopefully my internet stays up. If I drop off again, I'm gonna switch locations, but we'll see. So I currently am a holistic business, self-development, and power, success, and wellness coach. I've got tons of certifications. Currently in the process of transitioning out of my day job and doing this full time, but until then I do it in some of my spare time. And yeah, I help people on the mental side, emotional side, as well as physical side through helping them know how to eat correctly and increase every aspect of emotions. And so I have a certification in mindfulness, and I also needed it for myself. When we got into this time that we're in right now, I needed additional tools to help me because I am an extreme extrovert. I would have said before this time that I was an ambivert, but then COVID hit and I was like, no, I'm an extrovert. I need to people. So I had a lot of resurfaced trauma come up. I had all types of things that I needed assistance with. And so I got certified in mindfulness. And so that is like the full gamut of things, right? Deep breathing, just all types of different alternative therapies. And I also last year was introduced fully to the Aroma Freedom technique. I had seen a presentation on it before, but I hadn't had any sessions myself. And honestly, of all the techniques that I have ever experienced when it comes to alternative therapies to help you with your emotions, nothing works as good as this technique. And I know making sure that I have sessions of this at least 2 times a month has literally changed my whole emotional wellness state, as well as accelerated my trauma healing, in addition to other things, prayer and study and self-development and all that stuff too, on top of it, of course, because this is not anything medical that we're dealing with right here, but it definitely is like the icing on the cake and additional help towards that. And so I would encourage anyone, if you've never had a full aromatherapy session, which you need a licensed practitioner for that, to definitely get an aroma freedom technique session so that you can see the difference for yourself. And a little bit of what we learn, I do incorporate the aromatherapy in an intentional way with a lot of my clients now as well, because it really, really, really does help. And so knowing that here in Michigan, we recently had a school shooting about 6 weeks ago. And so I need some more tools to help some of the young people that I know. I was really super interested in this book and making sure that I could bring this information to all of the individuals, especially that have kids that they want to help. So that's why I decided to do this collaboration. And Tammy is an amazing person. She has so many resources. And I'm very familiar with her book because I helped translate it into Spanish. So that will be coming soon. And I have copies that I'm going to gift to some people that need it. So with that, I am going to turn it back over to her so that she can get into the details of the how, what, and why.
Okay, so a little bit about me before we move on. So I am a certified Aroma Freedom Technique practitioner, and as Tashina said, in order to do this process professionally, you require certification. I had been doing it for several years, just with family and friends, with amazing results. And for myself, for my team, I would go on my Young Live-In team with my upline and offer a monthly group session, and they love it as well. And this process is just, it's so gentle and yet so powerfully effective. And this last year, I wrote this book, Little with Big Feelings. When I took the training, excuse me, the early last year in 2021, as I took the training, Dr. Perkis, the creator of the Aroma Freedom Technique, he mentioned a couple times through the training that it would be really great to have it in a book for children. And so I thought, oh, well, if somebody else does it, that's great. That's great. And still, no book, no book. And so I decided I'm going to be the one to create the book. And that's how this book came about. And so we'll be going through that as we flow through this process. We're going to be using, there's 6 different techniques, and we're going to be flowing through the one called Aroma Reset. So it's basically a picture book of the Aroma Reset. And you'll see as we flow through it how it works. But it's great for, I've had adults buy it and use it that have no children. So it's great for people of all ages, especially if you're a visual learner and you love seeing pictures over just hearing words. It's great for younger children who might not have the words to describe these things yet, but they can connect with the images and maybe point them out. It's great for special needs children. I have an adult special needs daughter, and we read this book in bed before she goes to sleep, and we just do it as like a part of the routine. So and the reason we do that is so the process is familiar. Because me trying to do this process in the middle of a meltdown, like read a book for the process, that's not going to work. But if I'm familiar with the steps, she's familiar with the steps, then I can use keywords and phrases to help her connect with those stages of the process and help her flow through when she's having a meltdown. And generally we see results fairly quickly. It's so if any of those make connections for you, I invite you to check out the book. We're going to flow through it so you'll see the whole process. So disclaimer for this process, I am not a medical professional. I'm not here to treat or diagnose or prescribe anything. If you require those, I invite you to seek out your appropriate professionals as required. So we're going to begin with the Aroma Reset. The second round, we're going to flow through it twice, and in the second round, I'll use the book to flow through for the second round. So this process, we will go from being confused and frustrated and overwhelmed into feeling clear and motivated and empowered. During this process, it is designed, it's specifically designed to be used with young living essential oils. And this is because of their commitment to quality. It goes above and beyond industry standards. However, if you do not have young living essential oils, think of your kitchen, a natural botanical. So something like a fresh citrus fruit and a way to scrape the peel, some fresh or dried herbs. Those would be good alternatives. A cinnamon stick, things like that. I have a video on my website that describes why you would want to avoid other oils if you're not sure of their quality, because lower quality oils, even though you think they're the same thing, they're probably not. They could contain solvents that have been used in the distillation process to extract the oils. Their growing methods could have contained herbicides or pesticides, and that can be passed on into the oil. There could be other harmful constituents, or the oil that is being labeled as oil could be completely synthetic, and so not even an oil at all. And you cannot tell this by simply smelling an oil. Lavender is a prime example of this. There is more lavender essential oil on the market than is ever produced or harvested. All right. In my video that I used to explain the different qualities of oil, I actually compare it to freshly squeezed orange juice all the way down to like a flavored orange drink. I won't give a brand name, but there's no orange juice in the flavored orange drink. It's just artificial flavor, artificial color to taste, like an orange sort of. All right. So the next thing is our sense of smell is an often overlooked sense that we have. Unlike our other senses, it doesn't go through a filtering system in our brain. All our other senses we can receive input from. Like for instance, you could be having a conversation with somebody and there could be noise going on over here and you can filter this noise out to carry on your conversation. However, our sense of smell, we get an immediate response and it doesn't get filtered out. So think of your sense of smell. It can trigger memories. It can affect your mood. Have you ever smelled an aroma and then a memory comes to mind? And feel free to put in the comments if you can relate to any of this. That's our way of interacting. Or you can speak up and just voice. That's totally okay during this. For me, when I smell a pipe, like pipe smoke, my great-grandfather did that, and it instantly reminds me of him. Another smell that gets triggered for me that reminds me of something is if I smell wintergreen, which was one of the oils I used this morning, it reminds me of pink peppermints, and that reminds me of my great-grandmother. She always had a little dish of pink peppermints for when we would come over when I was little. Tashina, do you have any experiences that aromas trigger for you that you'd like to share?
Interestingly enough, it's not using some of the more like woodsy essential oils. The smell of them aren't that pleasant to me. They're not my favorite because I prefer like flowers, but they're always very grounding because they remind me of going up north. So here in Michigan, we have lots of cities, but we'll go up north in order to be in with nature. And so it is very comforting, something like pine, because that reminds me of like being up north and in a cabin and being very tranquil and serene.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have a particular smell that triggers something for you that you'd like to share? Okay. So I'm just going to move on.
Belki's had her hand up. She just manually had it up.
Tashina, can you help me see that? Because when I've got the screen share on, I'm not able to see that.
Yep, I will.
Great. Thank you.
I don't have a specific smell, but some lotions or perfume, maybe if I use it like now and I have a friend that I hang out a lot, then I stop using that lotion or that perfume, and then years later, if I ever use that lotion again, I'll be like, oh, I'll think about that friend. That happens to me a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. We get those immediate responses from aromas. And so our sense of smell, this is where kind of how the sense of smell works. So it's the olfactory system. And so when we have an experience that has a strong emotional connection, our brain likes to store that as a file. So if we have an experience, let's say, for example, as a child, a dog bit you, all right? So that would be pretty traumatic. And so maybe your initial story that you created in your mind at that time is, that dog bit me and that was scary. But as time went on, your story can actually shift. And so maybe that developed into the story of, ooh, all dogs bite. And so I have to avoid all dogs. Well, now you're an adult and you have you have children and your kids want to have a dog. and you're like, oh, all dogs bite. And so this could cause a problem in your family. Well, you could use this process to clear that out and upgrade your story from feeling fear towards dogs to realizing that not all dogs bite. And then that would make it easy for you to then welcome a dog into your home. And so when we regularly upgrade our phones and our technology, we get that pop-up and you click to upgrade. Well, we don't often think to upgrade our stories that we've developed it from past emotional experiences. And so the amygdala happens to be our emotional processing part of our brain, and the hippocampus tends to be where memories get processed. And so because that happens and we can activate it and bring that up with our sense of smell, we can then upgrade our story. It's like opening that file and we're saying, okay, we're doing the upgrade right now. And so that's what this process does. So if we haven't processed that, so maybe you've had an experience and you had to shove it aside, you haven't processed it, that program then gets stored in your memory and you run your life by that story. And so as time goes on, you'll have experiences where your response is out of the ordinary. And that's a trigger point for you. That is a great indicator that this process then would be or could be required to help you upgrade your story to a new program. And so those triggering points, think of those as just indicators that, hey, I have an old program that is now time to upgrade. So once you understand this process and how simple it is, it's going to take longer because we're going through a walkthrough and I'm discussing a lot. But once you understand how this process works, it's literally very quick. Within a minute or two, you can have everything, back to feeling motivated and calm and ready to move forward. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right. So we're ready to start the Aroma Freedom. We're going to go through a few steps, and I invite you to grab, your choice of oil. You're welcome to put your choice of oil in the comments, or if you're using pressure-dried herbs or citrus fruit. Let's make this interactive in this room so I can help as I walk you through the process. So the first thing we're going to do, and I ask you to identify a situation. So in the comments, you can simply just type "got it." Yes, you could definitely use the memory release blend. So there's a specific blend called Memory Release Blend created by Dr. Perkis, and that combination is equal parts of frankincense, stress away, and lavender. We are doing a reset, so it's not required to have that specific combination. That's recommended for the full Aroma Freedom Technique session, which takes about an hour. We're doing just a reset. So you can use that combination, but you can also use any uplifting oil that you would like. All right. Frankincense, stress away, and lavender. Beautiful. All right. So now, once you got your situation, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to name the one word that describes how you feel when you picture your situation. Now, this could be something like sad, angry, hopeless, fearful, worried, anxious. I really like to say that you can connect it back to one of the 4 basic core emotions. You should be able to connect it back to sad, mad, or scared, or glad, but we're not going, typically you don't have happy feelings for this process for something that's frustrating, overwhelming, or confusing. So you should be able to connect it back to those first three, sad, mad, or scared. If you find yourself saying things like judgments, like I feel silly or I feel foolish, just keep going and say, well, when I judge myself as silly or foolish, how do I feel? Until you get to a feeling emotion. You can type your feeling in the comments and I'll help you determine if it's a feeling or a judgment and whether or not we need to go a little further.
Tammy, I'm in with this situation. I'm in a lower one of the primary four, which is so is frustrated, like a lower version of anger.
Yeah, frustration would relate back to anger. Yes. Yes. Anyone else?
Do I pick one of each?
Nope, just one emotion.
Okay.
Although you could have a situation that makes you feel sad and angry, but yeah, generally just one emotion here.
So the first step, I don't know, Belkis, if you got that, was to think of a situation right now that
Yes.
is affecting you. So it would be the
yes.
emotion related to that situation.
Yes. So this situation, something that was currently feeling frustrating or overwhelming or confusing for you, how does that situation make you feel when you think of it, when you picture it? Mm-hmm. Is that clear?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Hey, Shante, welcome. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is when we experience an emotion, we often experience a matching body sensation. So for instance, if you're happy, you might have a smile on your face. But if you're sad, maybe your facial expression is down, maybe there's tears, maybe your shoulders are droopy. If you're angry, maybe you've clenched your fists, maybe you've tightened your jaw or furrowed your brow. So just give your body a scan. And it could be in your head, your neck, your back, it could be your belly, arms, hands, legs, feet. Once you have your body sensation, I'll get you to type that in the comments. I had a big cough. I had to find the mute button and it was not coming easy. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do in this 4-step process is now we're going to identify a negative voice. So this voice is a thought in your head, something that inner voice is saying about your situation. So it could be something as simple as, I don't have time for this. I don't know where to start. I don't have enough money. I'm not smart enough. Why did this have to happen? I don't know where to begin. Once you hear your inner thought, I invite you to share it in the comments, or you can just type God. Okay, everybody got that one? How many are in the room, Tashina? I am unable to see that right now.
We've got 8. So yeah, so like Melissa and Renelle, you don't have to necessarily share, but if you guys can give us a thumbs up electronically, that'll disappear just to let us know that you're on track with us.
Yeah, the one thing I really like about these processes is you can simply just say got it, You really do not have to share anything personal or private. It can all be processed internally as you're guided through. And it's really wonderful. All right, so now that you have your negative thought, we are ready to activate our sense of smell. We've got our situation, how we feel about it, the body sensation, and that inner voice. So, whatever you have chosen for your aroma, I invite you to place a drop in the palm of your hand if it's essential oils. If you have 3 separate oils, place 1 drop of each in the palm of your hand. If you have some fresh or dried herbs, I invite you to give them like a crush with your hands. Get the aroma on your hands. If you have a citrus fruit, scrape the peel. Again, get the oil from the rind onto your hands. Then gently rub your hands together. And then we're going to breathe in some nice, deep, slow belly breaths for about a minute as I continue to walk you through the process. All right. So as you breathe, connect with your situation. Connect with how you feel when you think of your situation. Connect with your body sensation. And connect with your inner voice. And as you breathe, notice what is shifting for you. What is happening with your perspective on your situation? What is happening with your emotion? Is it dissipating or easing? What is happening with your body sensation? Does it relax? Does it ease? Maybe you feel like stretching and moving. And what's happening with your inner voice, those thoughts about your situation? Maybe it's shifting to something like, I got this. I know what to do. I can handle this. And as you continue to breathe, I invite you to ask yourself some questions like this. Why does this turn out so awesome? Why do I take action with ease? Why does my day go so great? Why does my situation play out perfectly? Why do I achieve my desired outcome with ease? And now, the final thing to check in with as you breathe is if an action step is coming for you. Something small that you could do to get a new outcome or a new result. If you are receiving an action step, I invite you to take a moment and write it down. You could write it on paper. You could put it in the chat. You could put it right in your planner. Give it a specific time and a date where you're going to follow through with that action. So you're going to get a new result, a different outcome already. Oh my goodness, excuse me. Someone just slammed the door. All right. So we are at the end of round 1. And so with this process, these are some of the options in moving forward. Does anybody wish to share anything about their processing? What shifted for you?
I have less tension in my neck currently. So, and it's something that a situation I've been discussing with a couple people over the past couple of days. So I've probably been increasing the tension in my neck as I discuss the irritation. So now I have a lot less tension. So
thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
I'm still confused. I don't know how I feel.
Okay. That's what we're going to talk about here. So sometimes flowing through the process once helps clear everything out. And then you just go on with your day and everything's good. Another thing is where you could flow through this process a second time, which we are going to do here in just a moment. But if after 2 rounds of going through this and things aren't still cleared out, then you might want to consider going for the full 1-hour session of an aroma freedom technique. There could be an underlying situation that will need the full process to clear out. And why, we'll talk about that later. So for this second round, does anyone else have anything to share? Okay. So for the second round, we are going to use Little with Big Feelings. And so I'm excited to share this with you. All right. Whoops. I jumped way ahead. All right. So this is the cover, Little with Big Feelings. And so we're just going to flow through the same process. So the first thing we're going to do is identify a situation that happened to you. Oh, thank you for sharing, Melissa. And so in the book, you can see a child could easily relate to one of the situations, and either they can just get the idea in their head. It's putting it in their head to make that connection that's really important with the process. It's not necessarily important for them to say it out loud. They could point to the picture or whatever. And if the situation is, oh, thank you, Shantae, for sharing. If the situation isn't pictured, maybe they'll tell you about the situation. Or the key here is that it's being brought to mind. And so I invite you, if it did not clear out your situation from the first round, to continue through with that one for this round. If it did clear out, I invite you to pick a different situation that you'd like to clear. And sometimes, whether we're adults or children, we just don't have the words. Maybe we don't know the word for what happened to us. Sometimes things are difficult to describe. And so just getting to the point that you have a visual of it, that's the key to this. And once you've got it, you can type "got it" in the comments, so I know to go on to the next step.
Or thumbs up works as well.
Yes. But Tashina, you have to tell me, because like when I'm doing the screen share, I need a second screen is what I require, because I'm not able to see the rest of the room. All right. So the next step is, how do you feel? So here you could pick a facial expression that matches how you feel rather than having to name your feeling. But this is where you're going to put a feeling to how you feel when you think of your situation. I have done a few classes and interactions with people, and have come to realize specifically people with autism really struggle with connecting with emotions. So I have not shared this book yet with persons with autism to know, but I think having a visual would help with the connection, because often they can connect with a feeling in their body, but not an emotional, and the emotion that's connected. So just having the visual here, then connect with how you feel. And once you have that, just like Melissa and Tashina have done, you can type that in the comments. Perhaps as a child, maybe you had people say to you, many of us have been conditioned not to feel, and so that even can be a challenge. Maybe you've heard terms like "suck it up," "don't feel that way," "what are you crying about?" If you keep crying, I'll give you something to cry about. Or just grow up. Some of these terms I heard as a child, and I learned to stuff my emotions and hide them. And so I'm grateful now that I'm learning healthy ways to flow my emotions. All right, so the next one, we are connecting where this is showing up in our body. So as you can see, a child could easily pick one of the pictures. However, if they're not seeing where it's showing up in their body, they could even touch their body and just tell you where it is. The key point is they're making that connection where it's showing up. So I'll invite you to put in the comments where it's showing up for you in your body. Okay. And so now we're going to move on and we're going to connect with that inner voice, that thought. What thought do you have about what happened? And I've included some visuals of, and they're left very much to the interpretation of the person who's looking at the visual. I tried to pick images that could be taken more than one way. And again, the point is you're connecting with that inner voice right now. So once you have yours, you can either share it or type "got it" in the comments.
Everyone have their negative voice? Okay. Yeah, I think we got
All right.
everyone now.
Awesome. And so now we're back to smelling our aromas. So whatever you've chosen, again, a drop on the palm of your hands. If you have oils, if you have some fresh or dried herbs, give them a crush. If you have a citrus fruit, scrape the peel again. Citrus oils are very volatile. They evaporate very quickly, so you would need a refresher for them for sure. If you have a child who does not want you to put an aroma near or on them, these are some suggestions that you could do. You can be the diffuser. Put the oil on you and get nearer to them so they can smell it. You could use a piece of diffuser jewelry. You could even use the tip of an eraser on their pencil and put it on there. There's lots of different options. You could have it in a diffuser in the room and just putting it in the air. That will probably take the longest time for the processing, but you will still see a shift. Be flexible with the child. Some children love oils, others not so much. And children tend to process very quickly. So let them breathe as long as they require, in through the nose, and you could talk them through this, or just continue to, like I did through the first round, like, that situation, how it made you feel, and it's showing up in that thought that you feel about it. Help them connect with those who will bring them back to memory as they're breathing. Many children, it's very quicker than adults. They're very fast to process. You may be surprised how fast. They may only need one whiff and they're good, and others may take a little longer. My adult special needs child, she takes a while. She has some pretty intense meltdowns, and so we get the oils going, we talk about the situation. I tend to do the talking, not so much her when she's frustrated because she's still in that energy, but within a few moments, she's just like nothing ever happened, and it's more gradual for her. All right. So as you've noticed what's shifting for you, going to go with release this time. Awesome. So now notice, how do you feel now? And so this is where you get that after result. So I invite you to share, what happened for you as we flowed through this time. What shifted for you? Calm.
Yeah, the tension is gone in my neck, and I don't feel like I have a solution, but I do feel like I've gotten to a place like it's going to be fine.
Okay. Anyone else? And so the tension can just go. Like I've done this process and literally felt my shoulders drop like 3 steps. Like it was a weird, like it didn't gradually, it was like step, step, step. Able to breathe. Yes, tension dissipated. Beautiful. All right. I'm going to come back to the room just a minute. So I'm going to stop share just a minute. Feel movement in my ankle. All right. So this process, this is something, can you see how quick this is? It's very easy to do. You just have to connect those things and breathe your aroma in, and you can be back on track fairly quickly. I use this process every day. This is not a once a week thing. This particular process is daily for me. It's almost like a lifesaver for me, because if things are going crazy, then I just need to connect those things, breathe in my aroma, and I can get back on track. Big toe pot, movement in your ankle. And
yeah, I just want to add like the same thing for me, and like even with a lot of my clients, because the Aroma Reset is out there, I'll send them a video and that'll be their homework to try to do it 3 times a day, because they're trying to reduce their stress levels or their anxiety. But yeah, definitely I recommend for people to try to do it in the morning, lunchtime, and then when they're transitioning like from work back to home, for sure. Just from an overall perspective, it will reduce your overall stress levels.
Yeah, like this is so great. There's so many things, like especially we live in a very stressful world right now. There's so many situations out there that we haven't had to deal with 10 years ago. And so like it's stressful for kids to go to school. I'm not sure about where you are, but here they still have to wear masks. And so that can cause tension. You could do that beforehand, before school. You could do it when they come home from school. Maybe there was an interaction at school, and just discuss that to calm them from the day. For yourself, like you said, Tashina, from coming home from work, at the end of the day, just before you go to bed, can you imagine just clearing some stuff out? How much easier it would be to go to sleep. This is a very effective tool. And I know that it works because I have been using it with amazing results. Tashina has shared that it's been effective for her. There's lots of testimonies on my website. And so I'm going to go back to the screen share as I continue through, because this is just one of the 6 processes. So now I'm going to share the chart here that shows you the other processes. So once this works. Okay, so there's 6 different techniques currently. The original was the Aroma Freedom technique, the one in blue. Dr. Benjamin Perkins created that because he was writing a book. No, sorry, I'm messing up the story, so I'm not going to share it. I have to go back and check the story. But he used it to help him write a book. He wrote the Aroma Freedom technique in a book, the process in the book and how it came to be. And he used this process to help him get through that and write it very quickly. It's something like 10 pages a day he did for this book. I see I have a chat question. Let me see. Here we go.
To
Yeah.
positive, yeah, just some positive comments of wanting to be able to do it with their children for sure.
Yeah. And so if you're doing it with your children, I do recommend, using it just like an end of the day process before bed. So they get familiar with the process. And then if there's that time when it's really stressful and they're having a meltdown or a tantrum, then you can still walk them through this process and get them back on track because they're familiar with the steps. So as you can see, each of these techniques is designed for a different process. So the TMRT, the memory resolution, that's if you've had something really traumatic happen in your past. So think post-traumatic stress disorder, PSTD, is that it? Yes. This has worked really great with our military people who have had traumatic experiences. Anyone who has, experienced something traumatic, that technique in particular is great for that. Then there's Aroma Clear, and that's very similar to the reset. The reset and the Aroma Clear are very similar. They're both basically for those situations that come up and they kind of throw you off track. Then Aroma Boost, that's if you've been procrastinating. Then if you're feeling stuck and frustrated and the other processes don't work, chances are you need Aroma Freedom. And if you're in a phase or state where you're really worried about the future, then there's Aroma Wisdom. And so you can see we're dealing with either past, present, or future experiences. We've got it all covered. And as a practitioner, I would know in a session which one, would best support you. A one-on-one session could include one of these or it could include a couple of these to help you process whatever's up for you. All of these processes are equally as gentle, and once you clear that emotional charge from a memory or a situation, the results are permanent, which is really cool. Dr. Perkis has stated that he's had many of his clients come back that have spent years in therapy and have said that they have had greater results with just one session of Aroma Freedom. That's how powerful this can be. And so next I'm going to share some testimonials from people who I have worked with. So we'll begin here. Working with Tammy helped me focus on goals that I had been putting off and to know what really needed to be done to accomplish them. The Boost is a great tool to have in your toolbox and in your box, and I definitely recommend it if you're feeling stuck. Karen said that. Tammy is a talented Aroma Freedom practitioner who immediately put me at ease. I've struggled with getting to bed on time most of my life, and since my session, I now naturally feel tired at bedtime and want to go to bed. I'm no longer drawn to do one more task after another, which had been life-changing. I appreciate her ability to guide me through exactly what I needed. I highly recommend Tammy. And that's from an anonymous person. She didn't choose to share her name. I did my first AFT session with Tammy. She made it a very comfortable, relaxed session. Tammy has a way of making you feel very open and aware of how you were feeling. During my session, she was patient and her voice contributed to me opening up. I feel she took the time needed to let me move past some blocks I had and was very encouraging. I will book another time with her soon. And that's from Ebony. And so even from your experience here today, you can see how quickly and effectively this process is. So ways that you could work with me is can have your emotional upgrade, your story upgrade, your program upgrade, whatever you like to call it, is first of all is you could have a group session with me. This is the most affordable way to go through a full session. I typically offer them monthly. Occasionally, I do skip a month here and there depending on what's going on, but typically a monthly group session. Sometimes they're themed. I've done ones for Crush Your Sweet Tooth and Reclaim Your Peace. And I'm sure there'll be more themed ones coming up in 2022. They're generally smaller groups, so you get that more personal attention. I do them via Zoom, so you can attend wherever you are. I can reach people all over the world, which is really great. and you get that connection and that support as you walk through the process. You can connect with my page at tammyhawksworth.ca/page/AFT to sign up for that. And that's just a personal investment of $20. And that's Canadian, so that's even less in US. I'm not sure what the exchange rate is, but that's currently just $20 for a group session. Another way you can work with me is one-on-one. And one-on-one is really great because then you get that individualized, personalized one-on-one attention. I'm going to be knowing and being able to switch up which technique I use based on what the information you're telling me and what you might require. You can schedule it based on your availability, whereas if I'm holding a group class, there's a specific time and you may or may not be able to attend. You can catch the replay often, but with one-on-one session, then you have that flexibility of working with your schedule. I intuitively lead the session, like I said, so I'm knowing which of the 6 processes or techniques to use. I also am a masterful student of sacred body language translations. I have not shared any of that here this evening, but typically when you get to your body signals, where it's showing up and we're processing and those signals are shifting, then in a one-on-one session, with your permission, I add that in. So maybe your neck tension has eased, but maybe something is showing up somewhere else. So that's basically a conversation that your body is trying to have with you, and so I can help facilitate that, and that actually amplifies the process as well. You basically get me as an accountability partner because I invite you to come up with some decrees that you're going to go home with and say, and some action steps, and I check in with you to see about your progress and how you're making out. And I'm voting your victory right from the beginning. And so I'm cheering you on, and then you also get a recording so you can rewatch it later, providing technology is cooperative. This is always. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, what's your Instagram account?
Oh, it is, I think it's at Well Oiled Life, at symbol Well Oiled Life, or it could be Well Oiled Life with Tammy. I think Instagram is Well Oiled Life with Tammy.
Where
You want me to-
I see your picture like that. Right?
Let me look.
Yeah,
I have
that's
to
you.
go to
You
my
look like you.
Instagram. Yes, that's it.
I got it.
Yeah. I love that picture. It's actually, there's no filter, no anything, nothing added to that. That was just a fluke, and I love how it turned out.
Natural.
All right, so
Definitely.
it costs $75 to have a session with me. Your results are priceless. You're going to have permanent shifts. Like, these aren't temporary shifts. These are permanent shifts. You're going to be healing relationships. Your confidence is going to increase. You are going to experience more motivation. You're going to feel your empowerment. You could improve your spiritual connection. You're dissolving those negative memories and thoughts and emotions quickly and gently. You'll be inspired to take action with ease. And this is quite the transformation. So again, if that interests you, that's available. And if you choose to book a session today, so I'll leave it up for 24 hours. So within 24 hours, if you book a one-on-one session, I'm going to include this bonus. So the reset that we did here this evening, I have a bundle. So it's the script. So you get a printable script. You can snapshot that, and so then you have the image file that you can have on your phone, so it's with you ready to go to do this process anytime you like. you'll get the Clubhouse recording. So I do this process along with several other practitioners. We rotate mornings, and we do this process every morning on Clubhouse. So you can connect with us on Clubhouse and join us for that process. We do it in the Hey Girl You Can Club, and it's at 8:30 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time, and the room is just called Aroma Reset. You will get a video recording of me walking you through the process, which you can pause as you require and as you go through it. And you will also get my app. I made an app for the walkthrough, and so it comes up on your phone, and you just tap the screen, and it takes you to the next step when you're ready. And so that's a value of $123.70. Just for signing up. And so these resources are yours. You will have them available to you to use at any time. All right. And so if you are interested in Little with Big Feelings, this book, you can purchase that again from my website. So you just go to tammyhawksworth.ca/page/my books. It's one of 3 books I wrote last year, and I attribute these books that I wrote last year to using this process. I literally cleared out things. These are my 3 books. So there's Putting on My Armor of God. There's my daily gratitude and prayer journal, and then Little with Big Feelings. And I use this process to clear things out. Thank you for sharing my Instagram, Tashina. I appreciate that. So, in this book, thanks to Tashina, is going to very shortly be published in Spanish. She's helped me with the translation because I don't speak Spanish. Maybe an odd word, but you know. And I have another person in the process of translating into German. And I'm hoping also to have translations into French. Tashina has mentioned she knows someone who can help me with Portuguese and possibly Japanese as well. So I am choosing to empower my world with their emotional regulation because this is fun and easy, and this is a healthy way to do it. Yeah, isn't that amazing, Melissa? I am so excited. This book is going to help empower our world. All right, so like I said, my first book, which was Putting on My Armor of God, I wrote that in just 4 days after going through a reset. I had cleared stuff out, got my download in the second round through, and then that day, plus 3 other days, I wrote this book. And it was published and available for purchase within 1 month. 1 month later, it was up online for sale. Like, wow. And I have not previously been an author or even aspired to prior to that. So that's totally new. If you want to learn more about Aroma Freedom, this is Dr. Perkis's book. I think I have a link on my website under like my favorites, my must-haves. This is one of the books I must have. And so this is his book that describes the process of the technique. Yay. Yes, Shantae, you do have all 3. I want to know, have you written in Putting on My Armor yet? I'm sorry, I'm calling you out. You don't have to answer. Please forgive me for calling you out. So you can
I don't mind being called out. I need to be called out. I actually wrote in it today when we were doing our thingy. So I wrote in it today. So that's your answer. Yes.
Yay! I am so excited for you, Shantae.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, or you can get any of these books, I believe, on Amazon. You can go right to Amazon and put them in. They're available in English, and my books are available in English in most markets. Hopefully soon in translations. All right, so next slide, please. Come on. There we go. So what do you require clearing for reaching your goals so I can celebrate with you your success? I want to be your cheer team. I want to celebrate cheer you on. I want to help you clear those things out of the way. I'm excited for you already. I'm voting your victory. And so, in this class that I am so grateful that Tashina has co-hosted here with me this evening, we use Young Living essential oils. They play a key factor in all that I do in activating senses. Our activating our senses is just powerful. When we can activate them and get them in alignment, we are unstoppable. We can achieve anything. And our sense of smell it's so often it's overlooked, but it is our superpower. It clears out doubt. It clears out fear. It allows us to make those upgrades without our brain resisting and saying, "No, I don't think so." It is amazing. And I have found that Young Living oils are my go-to choice oils. If you have not checked out seedtoseal.com, I invite you to check it out because they go above and beyond. I've said this before in this class. They go above and beyond. They're above and beyond organic. They do all the things that they put nutrients back in the soil, which is nourishing the plant. They don't use pesticides. They don't use herbicides. They hand weed. They hand harvest. You can go to their facilities and see the process. They don't keep anything secret. It's just amazing. And the more I learn about Seed to Seal, the more grateful I am. So if you already have an oil person, or you are thinking about oils and you already have somebody that has shared that with you, I invite you to go back to them. If you do not have somebody who you are already connected with who's been sharing oils with you and you require somebody, well then I've shared my member number here and you're welcome to get started with me. But I do invite you, if someone else has been sharing with you, to go back to them and honor that and keep that relationship there. When we activate our sense of smell, we are bypassing time. Our brain doesn't really register time. It's always everything is right here, right now. In fact, there's a culture called the Hopi. They don't even have words for time. Everything is just now. They don't even have a word for now because it just is right now. And so our brain, when we're about to do something, that's now. That's happening now. That story that happened 20 years ago that put a program in our head, that is now when that comes up. And so when we can shift that story, then we're in a new now. So we're bypassing time and all that. And we can shift things that we've been holding on to for years in just a matter of moments. That's pretty powerful. And so a little bit about Dr. Perkis. So what he does now, he was a clinical psychologist for about 20 years or so. And then he started using essential oils. And so he developed his technique, which led to other techniques. And so people started coming to him and say they wanted to learn the process. So that's what he does now. That's what he does with the majority of his time. He trains people in this technique. And this is an older slide, so I'm sure it's well over 800 individuals. I'd have to ask him for an updated number in there because I am sure it's way over that. If you are interested in the training for this, if this process fascinates you, he offers regular scheduled trainings, but he also offers a self-paced option, so you can go through it as you desire on your own kind of time frame. And he's in the process of organizing the materials a little better. That is a little all over the place, and I've actually been able to help with that. So hopefully the process is flowing a little better. I am a affiliate for that, so if you would like the link, I can give you a link, or you can just contact me directly. So with that, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It has been a pleasure to be here with you this evening as we flow through this process. I'm going to come back here, stop the share so I can see you all, because when I was screen sharing, I didn't get to see all of you. So do you have any comments or questions about tonight's process?
I just wanted to add on, we should be able to do these eventually also in Spanish. I have offered to help translate that as well, but I have to get certified first, which I don't have time to do until I quit my job, which will happen in the next 2 to 3 months. But and there are individuals that can currently do the process in Spanish as well. For those that need that, I have, or we can always do one where we translate. So we got bunch of thank yous in the chat, and no one has to turn on their camera if they don't want to, but I do want to take a picture. Screenshot.
Oh, what a great idea.
If I can remember how to do it on mine. So it is.
Anyone who doesn't want your picture, take it. I'm taking it now.
Yeah, keep it.
All right. You guys are amazing. I'm so grateful for you. And Tashina, I would love to do this maybe quarterly, and we could do it both in English and Spanish if you'd like.
Yeah, we can definitely get it on the calendar again for sure.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Melissa, you, how far do you and Tammy live from each other? Melissa, remember I was telling you, Tammy?
Oh, where are you, Melissa?
I'm in Lower Sackville.
Are you in Lower Sackville? Oh my goodness.
I am.
I'm just outside of Bridgewater.
It's beautiful down there.
Yes. Well, not today.
Not today.
We've got a storm here today. Everything's icy outside right now. So, I am so grateful that technology held out for us to complete this, because I was worried at the beginning we had lost power. So. All right. Well, Melissa, that's awesome. We'll have to stay in touch.
Definitely. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Thank you, Tashina, so much.
Bye.
No problem.